Ahoy Captains, it's Baz again with another video from World of Warships Legends. And today we have a Let's Play video for you in the Halland. This is the Pan-European Legendary Tier Destroyer. And we are in the map Greece in a game of domination. This here video is going to be more about the ending rather than the actual game or match itself. The ending is the reason why I recorded this clip or saved this clip. But there is a lot going on here overall. There's not going to be much to watch for, I would say, the first half of the gameplay. I'm kind of just letting my division mates do all the work. And so for the first half of the video, we're going to talk about my division mates. And we're going to talk about the Halland quite a bit. Now, our aforementioned division mates are the famous the Black Widow and Mr. Boo. And I believe that we were streaming on the Black Widow's channel here, if I remember correctly. This was from a little while ago. It's been a long time since I've been able to sit down and do some recordings. The recording backlog is quite large. We're getting through things, though. We're getting through things. But yeah, I was lucky enough that there was a spot open, and I was able to join their division for a couple of matches. Widow's a popular streamer. You don't get a lot of opportunities to develop with him. There's quite a waiting list, usually. So make sure you check out Widow's channel. He's got some cooking videos and stuff, and he's done a tour of his backyard recently where he shows off his strawberry plants and his bushes. His bushes are super green, so you're going to want to check that out. And then our other division mate is Mr. Boo. What can I say about Mr. Boo that hasn't already been said by the many hearts he's broken over the years? Mr. Boo's channel's got lots of Death Strike compilations and short videos of funny clips, so check him out too. Anyways, they're the only two battleships on our team. Mr. Boo's in the Yami, and Widow's in the Ohio. And yeah, we spawn in the middle, as divisions typically do. And, you know, it's tough for the Halland to play the middle of a map. Doesn't have smoke. It's kind of big and lumbering. I'll be damned, we're going to make it work. We're going to get this Bravo cap if it's the last thing that we do. So in the meantime, we're just going to contest it and let Widow and Mr. Boo do their thing. We're just going to stay out of their way. Let them rack up some damage. Scare all those cruisers away. You know, the enemy team has a Wami and two Schlieffens, and they're not really heavy battleships. They're more the battle cruiser variety. So the Yamato and the Ohio, they can obviously overmatch them and you know, put a pretty good hurting on those guys. And of course, you're gonna hear Widow and Mr. Boo on the comms. I wasn't able to use my mic at this time. I can't remember why. But usually it's because someone's at home. And I'm just here in my tiny two-bedroom apartment. And the TV's in the main room, and yeah. It's just too tough. Come to think of it, maybe this was the time I was sick and I was just coughing like a mental patient the entire time. Either way, I'm used to playing without a mic, and I'm a pretty quick typer. So if need be, I could send an emergency message. But most of the time, it's just like, whatever. Yeah, we're just holding down the fort here, contesting this Bravo cap. There's obviously a DD in the cap on the other side of this big island. So while we're waiting for the action to ramp up, let's get our commander up on the screen. Using Stig Hansen Eriksson, or Stiggy as I like to call him. See that he has great peripheral vision because he can tell time from his watch without even looking at it. Damn impressive. Yeah, he's inspired by Bay and Murray. As you can see, we are doing a full torpedo build in the Halland. I'll explain why in a second. First off, I just want to explain why I use Murray, and it's because he's at a pretty high level. But also I find that the two biggest weaknesses of the Halland, aside from not having smoke, are its speed and its hit points. So Murray kind of helps with both of those things. Now, as to why I use a torpedo build on the Halland, there are actually two reasons for that, but the main reason is because when I tried a gunboat build, found that you weren't able to improve the guns very much. The base reload time for the guns is 2 seconds,
Come on, Shima, you had to
and I
turn.
think even putting Mord off and using the fourth upgrade
Oh,
slot for the
sugar,
reload,
another one?
I think the lowest I could get it down was like 1.7, maybe 1.6. And to me, that's just not a big enough difference
Hello,
when it only
Gary.
has 4 guns.
No gearing.
Say that in
Hi,
the sense
gearing.
that you're not improving the
You're going
DPM enough to
now,
make all
sweetheart.
those skill choices worth it.
Yep.
So instead, what I do is I build into the torpedoes when that turns this thing into a deadly hybrid. Sorry, while I was yapping away there, we missed the 2 US gunboats make their move, and with some help from our division mates, we were able to take
Anyone
out
is
the
coming on
gearing, and that
board?
was our first kill of the match. Okay, back to the commander speak. Yeah, subsurface
Wanna take
venture
this
does add
further?
10% to your main battery reload time, but when your reload time's only 2% or 2 seconds to begin with,
That's okay. Shoot
it only
HQ,
bumps it
Ron.
up to
Still
2.2.
okay.
That still leaves your DPM one of the highest at the tier. Now you're really free to spec into those torps. Base reload time for the Holland's torps is 100 seconds. Choosing subsurface venture can reduce that by 12%. Choosing less is more can further reduce that by another 10%. And choosing the torpedo launcher mod in slot 4 can reduce it another 15%. So you can get these things down to about 63 seconds on the reload.
Great.
Now what I've done is I've also put the epic mod on these things, so once you start racking up some damage, you can get your torpedo reload down below a minute. What's so great about
Shall I
that,
do,
you
Ronnie?
say? You're probably thinking, well, these torps barely do any damage. Well, that's true, they don't do as much damage as other nations. And with our build, they still only do about 11,000 per torpedo hit. But you do get 2 launchers worth, and there are 5 torps per launcher. So if you do hit all 10 torps, you can do upwards of 100k damage. It's unlikely, but it's theoretically possible. But what I like about these things is that you can make it so that they're pretty much undodgeable. The Holland's base torpedo speed is 86 knots, which is bananas. That is freaking insane. I think it's the highest in the game. By choosing subsurface venture, you can get these suckers up to 90 knots. That's absolutely insane. That's like 3 times the speed of a battleship. Even if they do see these things coming from a mile away, it's almost impossible to dodge them. So you're gonna get some
I was
hits.
good at it.
Now, do you have to be more skilled to use these torpedoes than your average torpedo
I
boat?
gave them help.
Yeah, you need to make sure that your
I'm
torps
burning
do
someone.
connect. It's not like the Shimikaze where you just need to hit one. You know, with the Holland, you do need to hit multiples.
Shoot 'em, boost ship
But the
now.
point is that you want to go for floods. What I like to do is I like to use one launcher and then stagger my launchers thereafter. So maybe like use the first one, then wait 15, 20 seconds, maybe even a little bit longer, and then use the second one so that when you do get hits on the first one, the battleship will use its damage con, and then you'll get hits with the second launcher, and you won't be able to use its damage con, and you'll just rack up the damage due to flooding. This is a strategy that a lot of people use with the Jaeger. And then when you run into enemy destroyers, you just out-gunboat them. So this thing can do everything. It looked like one of those enemy Schlieffens saw our torps coming, but like I said earlier, they just go so damn fast. There was nothing he could do, and 2 of them hit, and we actually killed him by flooding. He probably didn't have a damage con left. Or cycled through them poorly, and that's what we want. We want these battleships to burn their damage cons with these fast-firing torpedoes. And that net us our second kill of the match. Now, even enemy cruisers, especially at legendary tier, where a lot of them are big and chunky, they have a hard time dodging these torps, I find. And that brings me to the second point of the video I wanted to make, as we line up some torps on another Schlieffen here. And that's there's a little bit of controversy surrounding this ship. And that controversy is that a lot of people think its tier 8 sister ship, the small end, is actually better than the Holland.
Oh, that Minotaur's
Oh, and look at this. The summoner's popped up on their screen again. So we're going to open fire on him and try and get rid of him. Even though the Schlieffen secondaries are something to worry about. That's okay. We polished him off. He didn't have much health left after our first encounter with him. Or I think we had a couple encounters with him. But we finally killed him. And that is our third sinking of the match. But yeah, a lot of people think the Smalland is a better choice to take out than the Holland. And that's because the Smalland, it is the sister ship to the Holland, so it's got pretty much all the same traits that the Holland does. It does have
Okay.
2 less torpedoes in the first launcher, I think. So it has a launcher with 3 torps and then a launcher with 5 torps. But the guns are still quick reloading, still has a heal. But what makes the Smalland stand out from the Holland is that you can swap out that heal for a radar. And boy, can that radar really catch enemy
And one of the
destroyers
reason
off
I don't
guard.
like the gearing, the reload on the
So
turret.
yeah, to begin with, not a lot of people
Like
use these
forever.
pan-European destroyers because of the lack of smoke. But for the people that do use them,
Should be the end of him
a
here.
lot say the
GG.
Smalland is more useful just because it is down tiered, so it goes up against tier 7s. And because of that freaking radar. Radar on a destroyer is a super strong tool to have.
Vaz
And
is
yeah, I use
forgetting
this
that.
exact same build on the Smalland as well, so it still has the super speedy torps. And again, I just focus on quantity over quality, hoping to
Okay,
get that
Vaz.
damage over time through flooding.
Nice.
A lot of people like to use this
Come
type
on,
of
Vaz.
build on the Jaeger. I think
No sweat.
Jaeger is well, I don't think, but I know the Jaeger came out after the Holland. But I've been using this build on the Holland since before the Jaeger came out, and I
Mini
think
turrets, good.
yeah, a lot of people use
Fine.
this type of strategy with the Jaeger going for floods, trying to stagger their torpedo launches and whatnot. The other thing I like about the Holland is it's got a really good torp range. I think it's 15 kilometers base. You can see I'm not using twist and track, or perceptive, I should say. In the third row, I'm using that other skill
You got the mini
called
turret.
less is more. That reduces your torp range by 20%, but it's still like 13 something
No.
kilometers.
If a
And I
mini
find
turret
that
is broke,
extra
Vaz, you
damage and
might
that
as well just
awesome
fire at height.
10% reload
Oh, Vaz
reduction
has got him. Vaz has
is
got
what
him.
I'd
Come on,
rather
Vaz.
have for
Gun him
this
down.
build.
Gun him down,
Oh,
Vaz.
you can see how the Minotaur wasn't able to dodge our torps, even though Minnow's pretty nimble. And we just leave him with a sliver of health, so we're just trying to go and gun him down
Nice.
now. And on the strength of being cheered on by Mr. Boo and the Black Widow, we were able to gun him down and get our 4th kill of the match. And if I recall correctly, at this point, I actually
You'll
typed
get
into the
beat.
chat that I'm on a Kraken, that I have 4 kills. Because
Yeah,
at this
five
point, I think
wins.
that Mr. Boo had shots in the Sonri here, and he could have finished him off easily. Like, come on, Mr. Boo is Mr. Boo. It's one of
Go
the
on, Vaz.
better players that I've ever played with, especially in a battleship. Unfortunately, we lost Widow
935
way back
points are
when we
going
were
up.
trying to get this problem cap. And
Don't
so,
forget, we got
here we
3
go.
caps.
We're on the Kraken hunt. Are we gonna get it, or are we gonna botch this? Oh boy! You know what? We thought we're gonna run out a time because of the points.
955.
We're gonna win on points pretty soon here. I don't know if the Torps will make it in time, so I say
How
screw
the
it.
fuck I
Let's
get that?
just open fire on him and just try and gunboat him. And oh boy, it's gonna be tight. Not only is the time working against us,
Come on,
but
Vaz. Vaz
our
has got a 9.
other DD teammate is trying to pinch this kill. Anyways, I'm gonna step back and let the live commentary take over because it's
GG.
awesome.
Come on, Vaz. No, Vaz. No. God, GG's. That's a saver.
Holy shit.
That's a freaking last minute. He dies and he seals
Mr.
his
Vegas.
Kraken. Look at that 2969.
Kraken, baby.
But we got
And there you go, Kraken
709
Unleashed.
kills.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
GG.
great call by Widow there. I had to keep that one in.
Oh
And
well.
thank you,
That was
Mr.
just
Boo, for holding your
fun.
shots. Yes, I don't get many Krakens, and I don't go for many Krakens. You
Well,
saw
you
at the
get
beginning of the
fireproofing,
video, I
so
was just
you
content to play the team game.
shred on it.
But sometimes it works out. Like Widow
Okay,
says, you get
that
yourself
was
one hell of a
one hell
game.
of a game for you.
Well, thanks again to Widow and Mr.
Okay.
Boo for carrying me through that match and allowing me to get that Kraken. Hope you guys did enjoy that video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button for me. Hit that subscribe button to see more of my videos and streams. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, take care of yourselves and do what makes you happy.